The coating durability test puts XS through a cycle of 10,000 strums. Through the lens of a microscope, it is clear that XS retains its composition better than other coated strings. Testing complete.
I'm more shaken, you're more stirred. We know what we need without saying a word. We found the sweet spot. Maybe we're not connoisseurs, but we found just what we were looking for. Yeah, we know we can keep dancing with our eyes closed, no matter what, wherever we go. Oh, there's living and dreaming and there's something in between. So baby, don't stop giving it everything that we got. No such thing as only one shot. We hit high and low and we found the
John Bollinger with Premier Guitar. We're at SIR in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm with Lindsay Ell. Lindsay, it's so great to see you.
So great to see you. Yes, slow motion handshake.
I know there's that moment of, do we shake?
Yeah, do we hug? It's like post-COVID, things are weird. Yeah, it's so good to see you.
Well, the last time I saw you, we were playing the Titan Stadium for 87,000 people.
Crazy.
And a couple million viewing at home. And it was freezing.
It was so cold.
So cold, and you came in with a Strat and a couple pedals, and you plugged into a backline amp and just like slayed it.
Thank you. I mean, you were out there all night.
It was a long night, yeah.
You guys are crushing it. It's always so hard. I mean, I'm from Canada, so I should know how to play in the cold, but it is never an easy thing. It's just, it's so hard all the time.
Well, you nailed it. It was great, and
thank you.
I'm just so glad we got together for another Rig Rundown.
Me too.
So let's jump into guitars a little bit.
Let's do it, yeah. Gosh, well, I brought a few here to talk about, so I guess let's start at the end.
Sure.
So I've gotten super into Rockbridge acoustics. I don't know if you've ever...
I don't know this brand. Tell me about them.
So they're made out of like Charlottesville, Virginia, and they're incredible. Brian Calhoun is the gentleman who started the company, and he came to Nashville and brought a bunch of his guitars, and I just fell in love with them. You know, I've played Martins ever since I was a tiny girl, but I just fell in love with them. It's like super, super light.
Oh, wow.
And
this strap weighs more than the guitar.
I know, truly it does. And I've never had, a full mahogany backsides top guitar. So when I played his, it's like the same like it's just got so much body and so much life and presence.
Beautiful.
And actually, Brian made this one for me, so he
it. Is that
it's my signature. But he wrote a few things in it. It says the best way to predict The future is to create it. And then I should remember these by heart, but be the change you want to see in the world.
Oh.
And so he was like, is there anything you want to write on the inside? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this is sort of my main acoustic acts. But
you know what? I love that. And not to go too hippie on you, but I love the idea.
Go hippie on me. I'm there.
I love those messages. I love sending that positive energy out. That's great.
You know, when you can build your own guitar, it's like, why not? Have fun with it.
Why not?
So yeah, this guy has been my number one acoustic.
You know, it looks like the sound hole's big. Like
it does.
It almost
actually,
looks like an old Martin where you know where they're kind of where they've played so much that the sound hole's bigger.
Yeah.
That's great.
Maybe that's the trick. Brian, we're on to you. We're on to you.
Okay, Brian, in the comments, tell us what's going on there.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next?
I brought a few things. You know, out on the road, I'd just love to have options.
Sure.
This is sort of, I am a Strat girl, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a custom shop that Keith Urban got for me at the end of our tour. And, you know, it's basically based off of a Mary Kay Strat, one of my favorite Strats ever. But, you know, it has like a nice, like, fat 50s sound neck.
And those big old frets, that's great. Or big new frets. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
and
so.
from Keith Urban.
I mean, it's.
Nobody's cooler than that dude.
Nobody is cooler than that dude, truly.
No, yeah.
Like, when you really think of just.
Yeah.
Who he is as a player, a songwriter, as an artist, as a human, as a dad, as a husband. Yeah, he's
the whole deal.
He's the coolest. I know last time we talked, I brought a few of my painted guitars, so I thought I'd bring you one.
Sure.
Just like a different one for you to see. I play slide on this guitar a lot, so the action is like wicked.
Yeah.
But
wow.
yeah, I've been, you would have thought through the past few years that I would have had lots of time to paint guitars, but I haven't. I've just been in the studio writing songs. And so that's like a song we recorded. And
that's great.
And so yeah, I should get into painting guitars more, but it's always fun. I just love having, you know, certain guitars for certain songs that we play.
Sure.
And then to bring them out and be able to use that guitar live, fans follow it along.
Yeah, I love the stitched up heart. That's so great. So when you're painting it, do you know where you're going, or you just start and it goes where it goes?
Usually no idea.
Like an improv solo.
Pretty much, exactly. Yeah. Honestly, that's kind of how you lean into it, or how I lean into it at least. Like I'm not a professional painter. I don't have any skills painting wise, and it's just like you kind of go where the music leads you, you know, and just like bring out the feel of the song. So it's fun. I definitely need to paint a few more. I'm so overdue.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm so overdue. I guess next we'll go here. So over the past couple years, I got to become friends with John Mayer, and
you know everybody cool.
No. You know everybody cool. You know everybody cool, John. But he invited a few of us to come be a part of a PRS commercial he was doing to release the SE, and I have to say, I don't play a lot of PRSs usually, but there's something about this guitar that is just. It's stunning, you know, the SE model and the regular Silver Sky. The way that John crafted this, the neck feels amazing. Like, all the little touches are just the curvature of the body, how light it is, like the tone pots feel good. It just feels amazing. And for an SE version, the entry version of, you know, a guitar, I play this thing on stage because it feels so good, and it has that single coil sound, you know?
Yeah, they nailed it on that
They
guitar.
really nailed it. I mean, when you think of pickups, and specifically like a PRS pickup, it definitely sounds like a Strat to me.
Yeah, it's great. And I love the way they flip the headstock on it.
Me too. Me too.
Really clever.
It's so artistic. Now, whenever people ask me what is the first guitar that I should have my daughter or son buy, and I'm like, the PRS SE Silver Sky, because
Yeah.
this thing is just, it's beautiful, and it feels so good I can't not bring it with me. So.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Okay, I love that.
I love it. I love it.
that.
Let's see, what else do we have here? Sort of the twin to the pink Mary Kay custom shop guy would be this one, because when we finished tour with Keith, he also got me a melody maker.
Wow. That's great. So
And-
like 60s-ish?
Yeah, I wish I knew the exact year, but I think it's a 60s, in 1960s. So it's just so special. Obviously, you know, melody makers. I think they stopped making them in the 60s,
Yeah.
and the Junior replaced them. But there's something just about this guitar that has like, as we have chorus on here. Oh wow! Now we're getting circuit fun. It just, there's nothing like it, you know?
Yeah, it's like the most jangly Gibson.
It is. It's like loud, it cuts through.
Super light.
It's so light. It's
Yeah.
so light. And like just guitars that have, you know, an age and a story to them, you can feel.
And
Like you can just feel it.
Keith Urban.
I know.
Yeah, the guy just keeps getting cooler.
He really, really does. He.
Okay, I love it. Good for you.
So always have to have like a few different things in the arsenal, even though I do love Strats.
Yeah.
And my number one Strat recently has been the Strat Ultra.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a couple of them. They're the guitars I use the most, but I just love them so much. They feel good. It has these like custom shop noiseless pickups, and they just I don't know. Out of all like the Fenders that or the Strats that Fenders have been making, like this has been my favorite over the last few years.
Yeah. Yeah, 22 frets. They're dialed in.
Yeah, it just feels so good. So yeah, this has been my. Usually I just have a couple of them out with me just in case, but this has been my number one recently.
Yeah.
Her name is Snow White.
Love it.
Hence the, and I've gotten super into green strings recently.
Yeah. And the matching nails.
I mean, you know.
Are those DR strings?
They are DR strings. They make these neon strings.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I'm sure you're familiar with them, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
come in all the different colors. But I will say, you know, in the right show, when we're playing in clubs or if an arena's really dark, like I will walk on stage and my nails and strings are glowing, like glow in the dark. And so fans have gotten onto it, and sometimes they'll like paint their nails green to match. So it's just been something fun.
That's great.
Honestly, I've been using like a few different kinds of strings. I've been playing String Joys
Okay,
on a lot
sure.
of them because String Joy made me like some 9.5
Oh, yeah.
sets. I usually can't play with 9s because they're so
Right.
flimsy, but they made me these 9.5s and I put them on and they felt so great.
Yeah.
I practice a lot of times with 10s, like 10s to 48s or sometimes even 11s when I'm feeling extra
Oof. Yeah.
extra
Like a workout.
strong, pretty much, to
Yeah.
use it as a practicing guitar. But then you do that at home, and then you put 9.5s on your guitar live, and I feel like Superwoman. I feel like I can do literally anything. But these DRs are 10s, so they're fun though.
Okay, perfect. Well, I love it. So do you have any green guitars? Or
I don't. I need a green guitar,
Yeah.
apparently, right?
Hey, Keith.
Keith, we love you so much.
Yeah. Actually, some of his
amazing.
old like 50s Les Pauls are very green.
That's so true.
I'm just saying.
I guess I need to go shopping, John. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. Oh, wow, you're such a gentleman.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Okay, well, great. And you're so 6 electrics, 1 acoustic.
Usually, it totally depends on the show,
Yeah.
what we're doing, how long we're playing for.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have some options, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And I always like putting an acoustic moment in the show. So usually, at the very least, I have 3 or 4 out with me.
Sure. Well, okay, that's great. Now let's address these amps, these pink
Yeah.
amps. What do you got going on over there?
Okay, so the whole pink amp craze started back, I think, when we last talked. You
Yeah.
saw my Zs.
Yeah.
And so Z was like, I want to make you an amp. And I asked him, could you wrap it in pink Tolex? And so it started this pink amp thing.
The
that
good
I was
doctor
like,
said no problem.
The good doctor said no problem. And so I actually still have one of my original Z cabs right there
Right.
to start backwards. It has like a Celestian Gold speaker in it. And then I also got Vox to make me an AC30 pink. When I requested, I'm like, can you wrap it in pink Tolex? They're like, I think so. And I think they only make one kind of pink Tolex, which is why all of them
Perfect.
match. I guess
Yeah.
it's perfect. So that's an AC30 head. And then a separate cab. Those are Celestian greenbacks. I love those speakers so much.
Oh yeah, great.
And then I run it in stereo with a Ceriatone. It's called the Overtone Special, so it's basically their Dumble knockoff.
Sure.
I will one day own a true Dumble, but that day is not today.
Yeah,
So,
right. Yeah.
When
They're not making any more of
they're
them.
not making any more of them, and they're not the cheapest amps on the
Yeah.
market. But the first time I played through this thing, I was like, wow, it feels amazing. You can lean into it a lot.
Yeah.
It has like wonderful natural breakup, and so yeah, I kind of do the clean dirty thing, and and swimming in a sea of pink.
Sure. So the Vox is the clean version.
The Vox is the dirty.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, didn't see that one coming. The
Yeah,
whole,
I mean, I will say like it's a clean-ish.
Yeah.
I'm more using like natural breakup, and then my Vox is like my extra dirty.
Yeah.
So-
Nobody ever wants to be really clean.
Yeah, exactly, right? Unless you talk to Corey Wong.
Yeah, oh,
Whenever
yeah.
I played with Corey, I'm just like, how do you play this clean? It stresses me out.
It's a little
amazing.
unnerving. It's like it's like so present.
He's perfect though. Like all of his.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's so perfect.
Yeah, man, that right hand.
Oh
just-
my goodness, I know. So we can all learn from Corey. But actually, and to segue into that, Corey was the one who really got me falling in love with all the neural stuff.
Okay.
Neural
That
gear.
is a good segue. So let's talk these pedals and jazz.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you got? Okay, what is with these 2 pedal boards?
Okay, so this is my normal pedal board over here on the left, and it's what I use every day, fly around the world with it.
Yeah.
But as you know, sometimes when you're doing a lot of fly dates, things
Oh.
fall and circuits break and
Yeah.
everything goes haywire. And so I've really gotten into the neural world lately. Like I said, Corey helped me fall in love with his plugin Archetype.
Oh.
And I use it in the studio every day, and it sounds so good. I mean, I have all these amps at home, but sometimes when you're just wanting to plug in and do something quick, Archetype is like my favorite plugin. It's so good. It's like right there. And so I really started checking out Neural as a company, and I heard of these quad Cortexes for a long time, and I dabbled in the fractal world for a while and played Kempers, and I just never really could get into the simulation world and like feel comfortable with it.
Well, because as a lifetime amp person, it's a weird transition.
It's never quite the same.
Right.
It's never quite the same.
I think like kids playing today that spend their whole life with headphones on.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
They'll be cool with it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so what I've done now is I've basically captured my whole entire pedal board in the quad Cortex.
Oh wow.
And so I've captured each individual pedal, and their capturing is the best I've ever seen to my ear. They're so accurate. So we'll go through all these pedals, but to address why this is here, it's because I fell in love with Neural so much, and I'm really getting into MIDI switching for the first time.
Oh wow.
I don't always have a tech out with me, and so sometimes, you know, as I'm finishing a chorus and getting into a solo and you're doing like a 4 tap dance thing and I'm like running to this part of the stage, or I'm like out on the catwalk and I need somebody to hit a pedal. And so I've never done MIDI switching before, but I will tell you, like the past week, my life has been changed.
Really?
Well, it's wild what, you know, I know you can get MIDI switches for, which is what I'll probably end up doing for this one. See, something clearly is happening. This is why I need this as a backup.
That was perfect timing.
That was perfect timing. Like,
shut down for a second.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so it's been wild to sort of explore into that world again. I will never fully replace this because this is always what feels blue and true to me. But for certain tours, we're rehearsing, about to go out on the Shania Twain tour.
And fabulous.
Yeah, it'll be so much fun, and she has this big stage, and we're planning all these cool things, and so having something that can do switches for me is like a lifesaver for our show.
So just to be clear, when this captures all your pedals, basically gives a digital copy of it, but then can you tweak them? Like, I mean, the great thing about pedals, you can turn
totally. That was the part that I was most nervous about. I will say it's not the same as like turning a gain knob all the way off and all the way on. It's not the same, but you can tweak them. You basically, like I captured this Centura overdrive, for instance, like at the perfect setting that I normally play all the time. And then I bead them and they sound so it's scary. They sound so similar.
That's great.
So, and that's partly why this rehearsal, I was like, okay, I'm going to plug both of them in beside each other and we're going to test everything and see how it does. And so, yeah, you can't necessarily go like no gain to full gain, but the setting that you like it, you can like tweak it at that point.
Well, and that's great too, because when you find the sweet spot, like on a pedal, you find the sweet spot.
I see what you did there.
Right, the song, like the song.
Yeah. But that's right. When you do find the sweet spot, that's normally, as guitar players, what we always want to dial our pedal to anyways. And if anything, like it actually gives me, like on this overdrive, for instance, it has gain, treble, and output, but it gives me like treble and bass. It gives you more settings on it.
So you can actually tweak it.
So you can like, scope it a little bit more. But when I do use a neural, I still use my amps. So I'm really just using it for effects.
Sure.
And then run amps on stage.
Yeah, okay.
So that's that world.
Okay, so this is going to copy this.
Yes.
And then show us kind of take us through your signal chain on.
Okay, so from the tuner, the signal flow, I go right into the Ego Comp, the Wampler.
Sure.
On tour with Paisley, he just made me fall in love with this compressor.
And that's kind of a stay on all the time.
It is.
Yeah.
Do you keep your compressor on all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it just sounds better.
I know, me too. I feel like it's like the extra like glue for your playing.
It just kind of wakes up the amp. I think.
I agree.
And maybe it's like a psychological crutch.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like I have more confidence because it like has my back or something.
Yeah.
So I usually run that all the time. And then next up we have the Centura Overdrive from Ceriatone. So the same time I got my amp, I asked them, because I saw they had this clone, and of course all of us are maybe looking for the best clone out there so that we don't need to spend, $5,000 on a pedal or whatever. And I've just fallen in love with this clone. I think the circuit is very, very similar. I think that the knobs on it are really, they're really subtle. Like the gain knob is just like, I also leave this pedal on usually all the time. I just kind of run it as a clean boost.
Yeah.
But
so many people do, because it's that same kind of thing. It just wakes up the amp.
It just, I feel like it does. It just like gives me that extra sauce, specifically like through that Overtone special. The gain is just so subtle. So obviously if you really want to... But it's like, I mean, when you run it, I don't know, I run the gain knob at like 10 o'clock or something. It just... compared to. But it just gives. I feel like my amp is alive all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like you think that this is the clean amp, but it's like this is the clean amp. Which sounds great, you know, especially
Sure.
if I push my amps a little bit, but also when we're playing in venues where
Yeah.
I can't turn my amps up past a certain point.
Yeah.
This helps me get there.
Get the front of house saying, could you turn
Yeah,
down?
could you just
Just.
give me
Yeah.
10 guitar players? Always.
Yeah.
So that's probably one of my favorite pedals
Yeah. Love
for
it.
that reason.
Okay. And then from there, where are you going?
Next, we go to this Atana. So this was a pedal that I actually developed with Siren pedals.
Oh, cool.
Siren pedals actually aren't around anymore, and so it's like a super limited thing. But we did a run with them, and they sold like crazy. I actually wanted to get a few more of them, and I can't even get more of my own. So I have this one, and I have like the original prototype that we made. But maybe there are some out there that we can find. But yeah, it's a similar like Klon-like circuit. Again, You're gonna get tired of me saying those two words so much, John. But
Never. I will never get tired of that.
it has like a little clip knob that can like kick it to a little bit higher of a gain state. So I normally stack it over the Centura, and it just gives me like some nice. And if okay, so this is with the clip on like the lowest feature, but if we go to the highest one, it like gives you a little bit more of a.
Yeah.
So
Sounds great.
yeah,
Okay, I love it, and I love the artwork. Did you
Thank you
pick
so
out
much.
the artwork for it?
I did. Yeah, one thing that I loved so much about Siren is they always have such beautiful
Yeah.
pedal artwork, and I mean, I guess as a guitar player, it's like that's half the thing, right?
We
Is
like that
cool
stuff.
names and cool.
Sure.
So I wanted it to be yellow. I wanted it to be a pedal that sticks out on your board. I was looking at like Mythos is now making
Yeah.
like some hot pink. I'm like, I need to get me one of those pedals, man. But
Okay, Mythos.
yeah.
Balls in your court.
Yeah, we love Mythos so much.
Yeah.
I've been following. Matt plays a lot of Mythos pedals, and I've been playing a lot of them. But yeah, they're so great, and I think it's cool to have cool stuff on your board.
Sure.
Okay, so next in the flow is the Ultraphonics.
Okay. Vertex.
This is sort of, Vertex. It's sort of a crazy, wacky overdrive. I normally stack. When I do use them, stack all three of them when I'm like really getting to that point
End
of a
the
show
night,
where
everything's on.
end of the night, your whole board is glowing.
Yeah.
And it gets like really, really loud, but it's wonderful and gives you like so much saturation. So yeah, I normally stack them like.
Yeah, that's great.
So there's
Yeah.
a lot of saturation.
Yeah,
There's a lot of, but it's good. Sometimes when like this Atana just isn't quite enough,
Oh,
then
yeah.
you have another level.
Yeah, that one goes to 11. That's
Yeah,
great.
that one goes to 11. And then this Mutron, I always love filter things.
Sure.
It's so much fun, especially when we're, playing something a little bit more vibey.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can play and swim around in filters and mod world for
Sure.
days.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
it's fun.
Love it.
Kind of the same. This Orion stereo chorus pedals. There's so many chorus pedals out there.
Right.
But I love this one. It's like very analog and old. Like they're kind of hard to find.
Really hard. And those were they were everywhere and cheap
Yeah.
years ago.
Do you remember them? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they were cheap.
Yeah, and now to find one, you're
I
like,
know. Yeah.
you're in. So I have a few of them, but I think they're so fun. They just add like that. Yeah, and it just like, it gets even like, you know.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
it's fun.
Yeah, it's really kind of Leslie-esque.
It is very Leslie-esque. Yeah, it like really widens out your tone, and you can have a lot of fun with them.
Okay.
Another fun thing to like throw in a solo when you just want
Sure.
that extra little sauce.
Yeah.
This Providence delay pedal has been one of my favorite delay pedals in a long time. I have like the tap tempo wired down below here, but it's just like it has, you know, different sculpt settings, but as it's also been kind of acting up on me. It just is very analog and very sweet and very.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great.
It's been one of my favorites. They're actually getting harder and harder to find, but it's been one of my faves. And then last but not least is this hardwire reverb that again has just been like a really, really warm sounding reverb. I mean, it can like, you know. So it's just like, it's just so approachable, and it sounds good on anything.
Right. Yeah, that's a hard one to turn off. It just sounds so great.
Yeah. It definitely is.
Well, Lindsay, I'm so glad that you let us invade your rehearsal today and catch up, and you know.
Thank you so much.
Congrats on the Shania tour. That's going to
Thank
be
you.
huge. It's a big tour.
It's so good to see you, and yeah, we're so excited. I mean, it's kind of crazy to tour with an artist that I've looked up to ever since I was yay high.
Yeah, it had to be really, really influential because you were just a little kid when she, first popped out.
Yeah, and now just to watch what she's doing, it's so inspiring. I mean, at this level of her career, she's been doing this for so many decades. It's her first tour back in a while, so yeah, we're really, really honored to kick things off with her.
Well, wonderful. Well, best of luck, y'all.
Thank
Check her
you.
out on the road. Till next time.